Well, hello everyone. Again, I hope you enjoyed class yesterday, had a chance to take a look at flowers, take a look at fruit, and I'll come back to that in just a minute. But in the upper left-hand corner with that red background are the fast plants that I planted last week that have been growing under that constant, steady white light. And as you can see, they're coming along very nicely. And some of you said that you have flowers on your fast plants. So again, I'm going to encourage you to pollinate those, do the cross-pollination with those flowers as they become mature. Look at the picture on the upper right-hand side. You can see in the middle that long, tall stigma that's there, and then down below that are the stamen. So the male parts are down below, the female parts up above, so you're going to have to get the pollen from the male part, stamen, up to the stigma. And to do that, nature uses insects and mammals, other critters, wind, to get that pollen moved around. But in this case, you're going to have to do that. When teachers and students when they purchase the entire fast plant kit and everything that comes with it, they actually send dead bees with the kit, and then people take those dead bees and stick them on toothpicks and use the actual bee as the pollinator. But as I said in class, you can just use a Q-tip. So get a Q-tip or even a piece of tissue paper or toilet paper that's kind of rolled up into like a point. You can use that. So just dab it on the stamen, get some pollen on there, and then dab that up on the stigma, and you will pollinate those flowers. So do that as your flowers are maturing so that you make sure that they're pollinated. Then, when you come to class next week, please bring your fast plant growth data with you. It should already be in your notebooks. Just make sure you have your notebooks with you. We are going to do some statistical analysis with the data that you've collected on your fast plants. So next week's going to look and feel a lot like a math lesson. So Jack's really going to like it, but some of the rest of you are going to wonder what's going on. Why are we doing this in science? And the reason we do that in science is because we use mathematics to help us understand data. So we'll begin that activity in class next week. So be sure you bring your data tables with you. To wrap up the flowers and the fruit, I highly encourage you, if you haven't drawn a really good diagram in your notebook about the parts of a flower and how they relate to the parts of a fruit, just pause the recording here and get this or the next page's illustration in your notebook so that you can make that connection between the parts of a flower and the parts of a fruit. If you'd like to also do just some internet searches or some great images, that's where I got this one. And if I think about it, I'll actually post some of those in this week's assignment on the webpage. And here's one more picture that looks like that gives you that comparison, correlation between the flowers parts and the fruit parts. It's pretty cool. Then, your final assignment for this week is to engage in an argumentation just like you've done before, but this time you're going to do it in writing. So I've given you a prompt, I've given you the question, and I've also given you the explanation. And I've given you 3 choices of explanations to answer the question that's been given. Your task is to choose which explanation you think is correct, perhaps do some research to find evidence to support that explanation, and then write a scientific argumentation paper that you'll bring to class next week. I've posted a rubric, just like the oral argumentation rubric that you saw. This one's for writing. It's going to include many of the same things that the oral rubric included, but this time it's for writing. So what you need to do is write that assignment out. It'd be best if you typed it on a computer. That way you can print a hard copy and bring that hard copy to class next week. If you do it on a computer, save the file and send me a copy of that file in an email. So next week I'll gather up those argumentation papers. I'm going to share those with Kelly, and then we'll move on with our activity next week. As always, if you have questions throughout the week, please feel free to email me. You guys are doing great work, and it's really fun to watch all the learning that's taking place. So I'll see you next week. Bye.